So like let's talk podcast because I'm curious. So what you said like two years has passed and a lot has changed in podcasts. Like what do you yeah, I feel like you're more into it than I am in terms of like as an industry
Mm-hmm.
because me I'm just doing my thing. I like to talk to people and I listen to my whole I have like a bunch of podcasts that I listen, but
Yeah.
I don't know too much about like news, for example, in terms of podcasts. Of
Yeah.
course, there's the Joe Rogan thing, the
Yeah.
Gimlet thing, the Spotify thing. I'm curious to hear your perspective.
Because the thing with what Spotify is doing now, especially what Spotify is doing, because like everyone else is like, I don't know if what they're doing, don't know what they're doing basically, but Spotify is making this big audio push because let's face it, they're not gonna earn much with music for the long term, so they're banking their future on audio, particularly podcasts. This is why they did all the things they did, like buying Gimlet, buying Anchor even, or
Oh yeah,
getting Joe Rogan. Even have like they even have
they
like
have video now.
yeah, they have video now. Cause I think when Joe Rogan moved to Spotify, his all his back catalog is there, but then the new ones are already on video. So it's a weird experience actually. It's like my I have a beef with Spotify, but I'll get into that later because it's a very different type of discussion. It's not industry.
No,
It's
but
more of
I'm curious about it because like I don't listen to podcasts on Spotify, but I do know that for a lot of like casual listeners, like people not necessarily people who don't necessarily listen to podcasts, they find out about podcasts and they go to Spotify. And then Spotify for them might be the only place to listen to
mm,
podcasts. So in that sense, you know, I mean, I'm sure like it's a good move on Spotify's part, but like for me, since it's mixed with music, I don't feel I don't know, like I have my podcast app and it's fine. It's
yeah.
not great, you know? I don't know, man. So I'm just curious, like, yeah. So anyway, so why? What's your like,
Cause yeah,
beef with
the
Spotify?
yeah, my beef with Spotify is because they have everything else mixed with the podcast. So the
Mm,
experience seems very cluttered. They had to mix everything. So like there's a tab for music, there's a tab for podcast. So then like I only go to Spotify mainly to listen to music. I literally the only thing I do when I check Spotify is to get the link to the new podcast episode, just to get the link, and even just share it on Instagram stories. So that's all I do. I don't listen to podcasts there. It's really weird that they're meshing it in one app. Although I get it because all their analytics, all the technology that they built up so far for music, they're trying to put into podcasts. So it's been a
no,
weird.
but how are they? How are they gonna make money on that? So, for example, let's say you have a podcast that's an hour long.
Mm-hmm.
So, are they just gonna put ads between the hour? I mean, that doesn't make
I am.
sense to me.
I
Like they
honestly,
have to put it in the podcast somehow, right?
yeah. I honestly do not know how
Like
on
YouTube.
earth. Yeah. I mean, YouTube, like, I don't know, because, like, sometimes if it's a long form video, you just, like, randomly drop it on a middle part that doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know how.
Well, maybe
I don't know how they're gonna do it differently, though. It's a weird thing because we're used to it on the beginning or on. I don't think anyone puts their ads on the end, which is weird. I mean, I hear podcasts that do that, like they put it on the beginning and the end. But then, like when it's a mid roll, like it's in the middle, it's done with purpose. Like it's not automate. It's not being automatically inserted into the episode. It's like the either the podcaster or the publisher does that. Like they had to define a certain point where they put the ads. So it's so weird how Spotify is going to reconcile that reality where you can't just like put the ad randomly there.
I wonder if they're just gonna treat it like YouTube. I mean, that's essentially what YouTube does. Like, if you
Yeah.
have a long form video, they just put the ad anywhere in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and it works. You know, like, I mean, I'm annoyed by it, but like that's what ads are. They're kind of annoying, but it
Yeah.
does what it's supposed to do. I wonder if that's what they're gonna do. Well, I wonder if that's what they're gonna do, and I wonder if they are going to, like how YouTube has like a creator, like, like a
Yeah, yeah,
creator
yeah. How
studio type
to
thing where you can monetize
I'm
if you're a
wondering
creator. I wonder if they'll do that for podcasts.
cuz Anchor already does that somehow. They provide like ad reads. So like they have it's in their UI where you can like provide like just you have talking points and then you have to just read it and then like you can insert it into your podcast. Because the thing with Anchor is you can like record segments there. You can basically just make a podcast within that app. So you can also insert the ads there. So in that sense, maybe, but how Spotify will do it, I'm not sure if they have the creator program yet. They're not making that clear because I really don't know. Even the people I know who are closely working with Spotify on stuff, so I don't know. I don't know if that has been raised or something. Because like I think what because a podcast network, it's called Podcast Network Asia. They are also doing podcast analytics. If you've heard of Podmetrics, I'm basically doing plugs for them at this point. It's basically analytics for the podcast, whether it's from Spotify. They even consider Facebook. They get the numbers from there, and I've seen them partner with Lazada for that recent 99 sale yesterday. They were already trying to build
Uh,
with that, so like affiliate links and stuff. It's basically the same thing as websites where you have like a link that goes to somewhere. So basically that. So they're trying a lot of things now because basically how to monetize a podcast really is really still not fixed yet. Like you have different ways. People do it.
but it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you have to reach out to advertisers, you have to reach out
Mm-hmm.
to companies, or you could sell your own products. Uh, I know I've been doing a little like YouTube stuff, and then I just realized it's so much easier to monetize in YouTube. Like, you just
Yeah.
make the content, and then once you reach a certain threshold, it's there. You're
Yeah.
monetized already, and then you just do what you're doing, and then you get something back.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said I don't know if Spotify will do like a creator studio type thing, but if they do, I would assume the way they do it would be like you make a podcast, and then you just determine how many ad slots you want in your podcast, and then they're the ones who put it in there, like their own
Probably.
pre-recorded stuff. Because it's too much hassle to like
Yeah.
tell the creator to give a read, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
that would most probably be the case because, the dream is to just like ask the advertisers to put ads and then just automatically insert it like they do music with
yeah,
music now. Like track, ad, and then track again. So, but yeah, it's not as clear to me like how on earth would they make it, but it's going to be jarring. I feel like it's going to be jarring to listen to a podcast and then automatically inserted ad. So I don't know how I feel about that.
that's the future, by like,
Yeah, I mean to
if
be
you
fair,
eh,
it's not like we're not like it's not going to go away. And Spotify is doing another thing. Spotify is doing now is like exclusive podcasts. This is the one thing. If there's another beef besides their
yeah.
app, it's their exclusives. Like I don't know. How do you feel about exclusive podcasts? Do you think it's Harmful,
So
like,
there's the well, so I listened to Joe Rogan, for example, and I think December 1 or whatever, he's moving now his content to Spotify, and I just don't use, I just don't use it. Um, so I don't know. I have tried listening to a few podcasts on Spotify because they are exclusively on Spotify, and then I'll listen to it, but I haven't continued using Spotify to listen to podcasts. I'm just happy with my podcast app. Um, I don't know though, but I suspect if it becomes good enough, then I'll just switch. You know, that's probably what's going to happen.
yeah. But I don't
So we'll
know.
see. I don't really know.
I don't know what the bar is for good enough yet. Besides like splitting it off, because like I feel that's the problem. Because everything is there. Yeah, sure. It's kind of like YouTube at this point, where there's a search field where you can search for new podcasts or music or whatever. But that's basically what a podcast app does now. It's just mixed in with music. So I don't know. Maybe that's an edge for like casual listeners or people who basically don't know what a podcast is, which is basically a lot of people here. Although that's changing really fast here, especially with podcast networks are popping
Well,
up here. They have their own show. They have
and
their own show lineup.
Spotify
Yeah, everyone knows
and
Spotify.
Spotify. Like people are listening on Spotify. I was surprised to see like a bunch of people who listen to my stuff on Spotify, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I guess it's a real thing. you know,
Yeah, I mean it's
uh,
real. It's like
so
so. It was jarring at first when I was like, "What? Spotify's doing podcasts seriously now?" But then, like as they accumulate everything, the podcast services, exclusive podcasters, even a Michelle Obama podcast on Spotify. So yeah, that's
yeah,
something. Like if
and
you
and
can,
and no one and no one else is doing
yeah,
anything in the podcast space in at that
that scale.
no one, yeah, at that scale. No one. I mean, there's the smaller, there are the smaller like guys like Stitcher or I don't know. I don't know the other. See,
I
like
don't
I don't
even
even
know.
know the others.
I don't
So
even know Stitcher. It's like I only knew because I
I've
was like,
heard of Stitcher.
yeah, I've like
I've never
read it or
used it.
something, but like, why? Why would I use it?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. So if
I don't even use Apple Podcasts.
what
Like
do
I
you
used to,
use?
but then like I use Overcast.
Ah,
It's an iOS app, which is basically it's so light. What I like about it is the app itself is so light, and the only thing that's making it heavy is the podcasts themselves. So it's the audio files. So I'm fine with that. But then like
I,
I don't know if I could see myself using Spotify as my podcast app unless they change something. And there aren't any exclusives that they have that I really care about. They're mostly spread out. I'm just afraid that we'll just live in a world of like exclusives, and like I would have to have like 3 or 4 apps just to listen to everything. It's kind of annoying.
but you know what I just thought of now while talking to you. So let's say they do the YouTube model and they have a creator studio, right?
Yep.
Me by it, and you too as a creator of podcasts, that will motivate you. Like let's say they started offering the same thing that YouTube does, like we'll give you a percentage of ad sales or somehow like the subscription revenue,
Yeah.
and then you just you have certain metrics that you have to meet, and then if they are obtainable, if they are you know something that like a small podcast can obtain, then that would motivate me to be like, oh, I am just gonna be on Spotify. Like if I have to, but
Yeah.
you know, um, they probably won't force you to do like an
Yeah.
exclusive or anything. But like I'll be, instead of promoting, your favorite podcast app, I'll be like, oh, just subscribe on Spotify. That
Spotify.
really
And
helps us
that's
out.
it.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, diba? Like if it comes to that, if they have like some sort of monetization program for smaller creators like the not Joe Rogans of the world,
Yeah.
why
Like,
not?
Spotify we could just buy them outright if they really want to buy the big ones. Just what's happening. I think they have Bill Simmons on also. I think they got them.
Yeah. They
They
do.
got,
They do. That's
yeah.
right.
That's why.
I forgot about that. No, but you have to realize Spotify. They only spend money with the.
Big
They
ones.
spend money with the ex. No, but the expectation is they make the money back.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just gonna spend money just to spend money. They spent whatever million, 300 million, whatever it was for Joe Rogan, because they expect to make it back.
Yeah.
So there has to be some sort of a play here.
I don't know how they'll
So
monetize it. To like how will they make it like, I'm still paying the same amount for Spotify Premium now. So it's like, since I have that family plan for 6 people, it's like around 200 pesos. And I know it's different for every market, but then like, how is that going to work to split it with other parts? Because now it's basically just the music you're paying for. I'm not sure. But
I know then that you get it automatic.
yeah.
I assume. I
Yeah, but
assume you get it automatic.
I'm not sure if I'm not sure because they're still burning money. So I'm not sure how they will make back the money besides ads.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's so
So
weird.
no, but no, I you know what? I can see it. Let's say so right now, if you're talking about video, you're basically talking about YouTube.
Hmm.
That's it. There's nothing else, right?
Yeah,
Basically. I
basically.
mean, you have Vimeo,
No, but
you have
like
all
who
these.
who
Yeah, but
the yeah.
like, yeah, exactly. So, but so, and right now for podcasts, there's no one thing right now,
Yeah.
right? It's just like, I mean, admittedly, when you were first trying to get into listening to podcasts, it was kind of confusing. Like
True.
I didn't, diba?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing again? Like I
What
used
do
to go
I
to the, yeah, I used to go
website?
to like I used to go to a website and listen to it on my laptop.
Yeah.
And I put it on pause and like, oh, should I turn off my laptop?
There
What's
was
gonna
even a
happen
time
here?
where like I literally had to transfer the MP3 file to whatever music player I was using because yeah, I listened to podcasts way back then when phones weren't a thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's really weird.
So like I think they want to be like the YouTube for podcasts. Like
Hmm.
that's the only place.
Yeah,
I think that's what they're gonna. I think that's what they're trying to do.
yeah,
Like YouTube for audio, like the YouTube for audio. Uh, uh, you know, audio content. Like the only thing they're lacking right now is books, which Audible kind of has the
yeah.
monopoly on
Audible
that.
has that on lockdown, aka Amazon because they bought the thing. But yeah, I don't know if Spotify will go to audiobooks, so that would mean they would have to compete with Audible, which is hard because that's where everyone is. That's where everyone's using now with
Yeah, no,
audiobooks.
but they can do it in podcasts. I
Yeah,
think they can.
they can,
It doesn't take much.
and they're the only ones who are basically spending for it. Apple doesn't care.
Yeah,
Google, I don't know. They just made their app now better, but that's weird. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Google making a podcast app. I don't know. I mean, if it helps their search thing, fine. But other than that, I don't see the value. It's basically Spotify right now. Like, if right now, if I were to tell someone who doesn't know anything about a podcast, I would probably just, okay, do you have Spotify? That's basically what I would say now. I wouldn't like, oh, just use the podcast app I have here. No, because it would be hard, especially for people who basically don't know anything about it. So it's like an easy way for pulling them in.
yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Well, if they do the monetization on the content creator
Yeah.
thing, then I'm there. I wanna.
We're
I'm like
yeah,
I'm
we'll
so
probably
in.
yeah, we'll probably
Count
be
me
there.
in.
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
it's a lot of work to do this, man.
It is. Like I've I've